Former Vice President Joe Biden's No Malarkey tour continues through Iowa, overshadowed by questions about his son. And now it appears the Democratic frontrunner has heard enough about his son Hunter's foreign work. Correspondent Peter Ducey has more.
One candidate's kid remains at the heart of the impeachment proceedings.
Hunter Biden reportedly received between $50,000 and $83,000 a month.
Sondland also mentioned Burisma that Hunter Biden sat on.
Hunter Biden had been on the board of Burisma going back to 2014, correct?
But Hunter's dad doesn't care to know any more about what his son did to earn a hefty payday from a Ukrainian energy company.
Isn't this something you want to get to the bottom of? No, because I trust my son.
Trust is an issue for two other Democrats. Elizabeth Warren just revealed she made $1.9 million as a lawyer over 30 years in private practice. So she wants Mayor Pete Buttigieg to come clean about money he made as a consultant and about money he makes at fundraisers.
We have other candidates who have decided to finance their campaigns by doing closed-door fundraisers, sucking up to the corporate executives, the millionaires, the billionaires.
Buttigieg says his fundraisers will soon be open to the press, and his campaign tells Fox he will soon release a list of clients he consulted at McKinsey.
I'm more interested in debating where our country is going.
If Biden winds up being the nominee, he's signaling a willingness to pick a progressive running mate.
Would you like to add Senator Warren to your list?
I'd add Senator Warren list. I'd add all, but she's going to be very angry I haven't said that. The question is, would she add me to her list,
Lots will change before the convention. Biden's answer to questions about his son probably won't, though.
You're a damn liar, man.
After reflecting on that, Biden is doubling down.
Someone a damn liar, a voter. This isn't Trump, President Trump.
He's lying. You acknowledge what he said wasn't even true. None of the mainstream media believes any of that was true.
I think it was the tone. I think it was the tone that was off-putting to people.
As my mother said, God love you, dear.
Biden has been insisting for months that no one has said his son did anything wrong. But Republican lawmakers aren't convinced, and Biden might soon find himself in the unprecedented position of being called to testify before a Senate jury made up of some primary rivals. Shannon?
Oh, that'd be interesting. Peter Ducey, thank you. Well, tonight, pro-Trump groups are flooding the airwaves, fired up about House Democrats' impeachment inquiry. This Facebook ad is powered by conservative activist and FNC contributor David Bossie. His group is spending millions specifically targeting these 7 House Democrats whose districts voted for President Trump in 2016. Joining me now, host of Left Coast News, Ethan Behrman, and Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. Great to have you with us, gentlemen.
Hi, Shannon.
See you.
Okay, so listen, this whole thing is speeding up. This is what the House Judiciary Chairman, Jerry Nadler, has to say about why.
I want to be absolutely clear. The integrity of our next election is at stake. Nothing could be more urgent. The president welcomed foreign interference in our elections in 2016. He demanded it for 2020.
All right, so Deroy, we hear that the articles may be coming first thing tomorrow morning, about 9 o'clock. We know that the speaker has got something planned, a press conference. We're going to be tuning in. We're moving ahead.
I mean, this thing is just going at light speed. I mean, the Republicans are still waiting for a day where they can bring in their own witnesses, present their side of the story. They tried at the hearings before the Judiciary Committee to get a commitment to do that. General Nadler said, well, think about it, put it under advisement. Now we hear the articles of impeachment are going to come out tomorrow. So this is the full speed ahead. I think they're trying to get this done before Christmas time. I think it's a total travesty of justice.
Okay, well, there are a couple of moderate Democrats speaking off the record, expressing their concerns. One of them saying this: for me, right now, I'm struggling to see how the evidence supports impeachment at this point. Some of them worried that maybe party leaders aren't giving full consideration, Ethan, to the moderates who are caught in a really tricky spot now as this thing barrels forward in their particular districts.
Well, I think that's the minority that are expressing that, a really tiny minority, like a handful. This is not moving at light speed. This was, by the way, originally the Republicans were complaining about how slowly it was moving, and then the White House counsel himself on Friday sent a letter saying to hurry up and speed this thing up. So you can't win for losing in this case, or can't win for winning either. So it's going to happen at a pace where the Republicans are going to complain about the process because the facts and the law are clear that this is a proper impeachment. There are numerous issues that have come forth from this president's own actions. And look, we've put an ally in harm's way, including our own elections, by forcing them to look at a political rival of this president instead of what he claimed to be corruption.
Okay, that's clearly not the way that the White House rolls out this side of the story. But listen, I mean, it's out there now. We have witnesses out there. Both sides presented their cases today. It sounds like they really are going ahead with this. And the president has said, like, you're right. If you're going to do this, go ahead. Let's get it done in the Senate. Let's move on and try to get some other things done. This comes across the backdrop, of course, of we're hearing that there's possibly a deal coming together on USMCA. And you know the Democrats want to be able to say that they are getting other things done, but there's also this tension about whether they want to give the president a win on something that big. Okay, I want to get you both to weigh in quickly on Joe Biden, because as Peter Ducey reported there, he's still getting a lot of questions about Hunter, what he knew and when. New York Magazine saying this today: if Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee in 2020, he will be confronted with questions about his son's role at Burisma on a nearly daily basis. That much has been clear for months now, and yet Biden has not bothered to prepare credible, coherent answers to those questions. And in fact, the Democratic frontrunner can't even respond to the most predictable queries on the issue without flying into a barely concealed rage. Deroy.
Yeah, that's right. He does go way off the handle. But listen, we heard in Ambassador Yovanovitch's testimony that when she was going to her Senate confirmation hearings, they actually had a briefing book for her to prepare her for any questions that might come up. And one of the questions was, what do you think about the whole Hunter Biden situation? And the answer she was supposed to give is, well, don't ask me, go talk to the vice president's office. So presumably people in the vice president's office were prepared to give some answer to that. And yet Joe Biden now says, oh, I didn't know what was going on. I never heard about this. I find that's not credible. This was under Obama and Biden. This is not during the Trump years. So this was an issue enough for the State Department to prepare her for this matter to come up, and somehow Biden now says they didn't hear about this until, I guess, just recently.
All right, Ethan, if he's going to be your guy, are you happy with the way he's handling it up to this point? Should he have a more solid answer ready, knowing these questions are coming?
Well, look, there's always a better way to answer that. I think Joe is coming out very strong in his defense in what he did with that voter last week in Iowa, which appeals actually to the majority of Democratic voters, unlike what Rachel Martin said in that interview. Here's the deal. Hunter Biden is in trouble. He has a number of issues that are facing him. He's having trouble in court, as you and I have talked about before, Shannon. But there is zero, not one scintilla of evidence that has come forth yet that shows that Joe Biden used his position to influence anybody to hire Hunter. Like so many people before, Hunter has played off of his dad's last name, his famous last name. It's going to trouble Joe through this whole process, but it's not something that's going to take him down.
Okay, well, we know he should expect the questions coming. All right, Ethan and Deroy, great to see both of you tonight. Thank you so much.
See you.
Thanks, Shannon.
All right, do you need some good news? That's up next, including the incredible story of a nearly impossible international love connection. You're not going to believe this. Stick around.